It's fine so far, but I do tend to not like books when they gravitate towards too much telling. One of many things that I don't like about this book is the fact that it's a lot of telling and not showing. I'm actually so confused on what is happening. Because sometimes I do like a pathetic MMC. Hello friends! So today we are officially kicking off the series Read It or Unhaul It. It is to accomplish one goal and one goal only, which is to read all of my physical TBR books that I own and have not read yet. And I thought for this video it'd be fun if Libby ends up picking the books that I read for this video. Just because if you guys don't know, I like reading books both physically and also on my e-reader, especially since I primarily read at night, so it's a lot easier to be reading on my e-reader. So I do end up borrowing a lot of books on my e-reader, even if I end up owning them, or even if I end up borrowing them from the library as well. And this idea came up because recently, in the past couple days or so, books that I had on hold became available, and they all just so happened to be books that I also own. So I thought I might as well just go with it and read those books. So the books we are reading in this video are First Time Caller by B.K. Borson, which is a romance book, and then The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, which is a romantasy book, I think, and then A Tempest of Tea, which I believe is a YA fantasy book. So the order I'm going to read them is First Time Caller, because this is due in 2 days and I need to read it. And then after that, I will be reading The Night and the Moth, because that's due in 6 days, and then A Tempest of Tea, which is due in 7 days. So I do need to read all these books before the end of the week because people are waiting for these. So no pressure or anything. Definitely a lot of pressure, but it's okay. We will get through it. I actually started reading First Time Caller last night. I think I read 2 chapters. So we kind of got into like the whole meet cute of the situation, where I forget their names. So don't ask me right now. I will probably remember it when I read it again today. I think Aiden is the guy's name. I don't remember the FMC's name, to be honest. But anyways, we got to the meet cute part where Aiden is this host for this radio show. It's like this love radio show, even though he's like super anti-love and skeptical and whatever. And then the FMC is a single mom, and her child ends up calling into his radio show to get advice for her and her dating life, I'm assuming. And so we got to the point where he kind of reveals that it's her daughter that called him and he's not some creep and whatnot. And I mean, so far so good. It's a lot of character thoughts, so it's a lot of telling, which in this case, it's fine so far, but I do tend to not like books when they gravitate towards too much telling. So I'm just kind of waiting to see how this ends up turning out and just kind of going from there. Also, the dialogue and also some of like the thoughts of these characters, they kind of feel like too internet, if you know what I mean. You could definitely tell BK Borson is definitely online, which is not a bad thing, but I just don't want it to be too distracting. I just don't want all of their dialogue to be internet talk, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just hoping that that's not the entirety of this book, because if that's the case, I also think that that might deter me away from the book as well, because if it's like too chronically online when it doesn't make sense for it to be chronically online, I think it would be more distracting than anything. I will keep you guys updated as I read all these books and keep you posted. So I'm a little over halfway through this book, I think around like 58%. And when I tell you I am eating this book up, I am eating this book up. Yup. The thing with this book is that at first I was like a little bit hesitant on whether or not I was gonna like it, but there is something happening here that I eat up every single time, which is the will they won't they, the forced proximity, tension, just fighting their chemistry. When you know that both of them like the other person, they're either oblivious to it or they know about it and they just know that they shouldn't do it, so they fight it off and they don't get together immediately. I really like that, and I don't know, I just really like them, especially since one of the dates that have happened in the 40% mark-ish, I don't want to spoil it, but ever since one of the dates that have happened, I have been giggling, kicking my feet, and it's just been so good. I really like it so far, like really, really, really like it. I was a little bit worried too that I was gonna have to unhaul this book, but I think I'm gonna keep it. I mean, depending on how it ends. If it's like a very stupid third act breakup, I might end up just donating this book, but I feel like I'm not going to, because I am very much enjoying it. It has been a lot of fun. to say the least. So I will probably finish it today because I'm like literally obsessed with it right now, and I had to stop myself from finishing it this morning. Not because I didn't want to read it anymore, but I do have things to do today, so I will read it once I am done filming other stuff and just kind of wrapping up other things too. So super excited. So last night I did finish First Time Caller by BK Borison, and when I tell you, yeah, I really enjoyed this book a lot. I will not be unhauling it because it was good. But the thing with me is that I really like a book that does palatable tension. No matter if it's a romance, fantasy with heavy romance, or even slight romance. Like, I don't like when people get together immediately. Like, I don't like insta love. I don't like even just like when people have instant attraction and then that's all we hear the entire time. Kind of like One Dark Window, that series. Like, I thought that series was fine for what it was, but the amount of times that we hear how the characters think they're attractive, like the other person is attractive, does get a little bit grating for me sometimes, and a lot of books are like that lately. So finally reading a book where it's like, okay, they acknowledge that they're each attractive, but then they move on from that, and then they talk about like what's going on. And like, I feel like things don't really pick up in their whole situation to the max until like way later, like the third act for sure. But there's so many things that build up to it, so that's really good. I gotta say though, the spicy scene, yeah, it kind of put me off at times because it was too much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not against spice, but I was like, I feel like we don't need to hear all of this. Like, we don't really need to read about all of this. So that was just a personal thing, I think. But overall, I really, really, really enjoyed this book so much. I'm excited to read the rest of BK Borison's books. I know there is a sequel coming out in this universe. I mean, I don't think it's like a sequel, but it's like in the same universe, and it's the second book in the same universe, and I believe it's following Jackson, so that should be exciting. So I'm excited for that. But with that being said, the next book we're going to be reading is The Night and the Moth. I actually started this last night, and I gotta say, I'm confused. I'm actually so confused on what is happening. I mean, I only got one chapter in, so maybe that's why I need more context on what's happening, but genuinely, I don't understand the magic system. I don't understand what's going on. What are the stakes? So I will update you guys as I read more of this and understand more of it, but we'll see. We'll see. So remember when I said I was confused about what was happening? Turns out I just needed to read past the first page, and now I am obsessed. Obsessed. I'm 74 pages in. I started it yesterday, read a good amount last night, so around like 22%, and yeah, I think I'm gonna be obsessed with them. I really appreciate how the FMC does not like the MMC right now. I'm really not a fan of insta love, so I really appreciate that the FMC is not folding. I mean, clearly the MMC has interest for whatever reason. I want to know more about him, but we're probably not going to know more, so I'm intrigued. And yeah, I don't know, I definitely feel like this is going to be slow burn, a lot of tension, and I'm here for it, and I'm so excited. I'm probably going to read a bunch of this today if possible, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I can finish it sooner than later. I'm really excited, and yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just really feel like this is gonna probably be like a 5-star read for me, if not close to a 5-star read. So I'm excited. I definitely see the hype now, for sure. This is the worst lighting ever. I think I have to be close. Okay, this isn't so bad. Sorry guys for the bad lighting. I am about to make, well, technically I can't eat breakfast yet, but I am prepping to eat breakfast after I get done practicing some taekwondo. Anyways, I'm sure you don't care about all of that. I did want to update you guys. When I tell you guys I am obsessed with this book right now, I'm obsessed right now. I'm around the 50% mark at this point. I had to force myself, and also my body was trying to force myself to go to sleep last night because I was so tired and my eyes were falling asleep, but I wanted to know what was happening. I'm not going to give any spoilers for this book or any of the books really, but y'all, okay, so we're at the point in the book where the big twist is revealed. They haven't revealed this yet, okay? They haven't revealed this yet, but I have a feeling that I know why Rory is so protective of Sybil, whatever. I have a feeling I know why. And if that is the case, I'm gonna eat it up. I am gonna simply eat it up because let me tell you why. First off, I love Alina and Mal. So if you know, you know. If that is the case, I'm gonna eat it up. I'm so excited. I love this book so much. I think this has a high, like a very high potential of a 5-star read. I'm not gonna lie. Everything about this book so far has been right up my alley because it doesn't seem like it's a love at first sight. In fact, Sybil actively hates Rory. Rory is the only one showing any slight interest. I mean, Sybil is showing like a little bit at times, but it's mostly Rory showing like a little bit of interest, and Sybil actively hates him. So that's been great. I really like that. Just like genuinely making at least one of them hate each other. That's been great. And then also too, the lore of it all is really interesting. So I really like that. It seems like very much more fantasy focused than romance focused, which I appreciate because sometimes with the romantasy, it's like too romance and the romance doesn't even make sense sometimes. So I really appreciate this. The yearning and just like the little moments have me screaming, crying, throwing up. Like I'm eating it up. Love the magic system, and I'm just really looking forward to reading the rest. Honestly, I am going to set aside time to finish it today, I think, because I'm like itching to read more. So definitely will give you guys updates once I finish it because I actually do fear once I start, I will not stop and I won't stop until I'm done. So that is the situation right now. So I just got done The Night and the Moth. What the fuck, guys? What the actual fuck? The entire like 1% of that book, the last chapter of that book, what the fuck? Who's gonna tell me? Why did none of you guys tell me? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? I mean, I say this in the best way possible because I gave this book a 5-star. I did give it a 5-star. But nonetheless, what the fuck was that ending? I can't even say who the offender of all this shit is because it's gonna give it away if you haven't read it. And I'm really trying to keep this spoiler free for you guys. But if you know, you know. If you've read this book, you can fill in the blanks here. Blank is a motherfucker and they can go kick rocks. Because what the fuck was that? Why the fuck would you do that? Blank. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Anyways, despite that, I really enjoyed the book, if you couldn't tell. After reading this book, I really realized that not only do I like when men are down bad, like the MMC is down bad for the FMC, not only that, but I really like a sassy MMC. I really do. I don't really like it when the MMC, when they're down bad, but like they're kind of a little pathetic in a clingy way, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. Because sometimes I do like a pathetic MMC, like a pathetic, yearning, down bad. I'm down for that too, but I really like it when they're sassy. I really like the banter and not just like what people think is banter. Like, I like banter. Like, give me sass, give me comebacks, give me like that energy, you know what I mean? Because that's the type of thing that I like in real life too. Like, not just like romantic interest, but with friends and stuff. I feel like I really like when my friendships and relationships in general are just like a lot of back and forth. We can tease each other, but also like have like very tender moments as well. So like seeing that in an MMC and an FMC is like really nice when they're like, you know, teasing each other. They can like say these things that can be very sassy, very fresh, like a lot of attitude, but we all know because they have those tender moments to balance it out, like it's okay. I love Rory. Rory, love you so much, truly do. I read the summary for, my cat is fucking up this carpet so loudly. Anyways, but love Rory. One thing I am worried about is that I read the summary for the second book and I'm actually terrified. I'm terrified, not only for the outcome of what's gonna happen in the second book. I have a semblance, I have a very loose semblance of what's gonna happen and the trope that is gonna happen. And if it's executed well, it's literally gonna break me. It is. Because it's a trope that I really, when they do it well, I just really love it. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm really not. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Anyways, that makes 2 for 2. Not 2 for 2 5 stars, but 2 out of the 3 that I said I was gonna read because Libby picked them from my TBR. Yeah. They're absolute bangers. Honestly, they're so good. Who would have thought my own TBR would have brought this much joy and happiness? As if I didn't like pick out these books myself. That's what a crazy concept. What a crazy idea. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the last and final book that Libby picked out for me, which is A Tempest of Tea. I did in fact read 1 chapter, and Libby also did in fact return it. I'm gonna try and re-borrow it, and hopefully it's ready on Libby. If not, I'm just gonna read the physical book because technically it did pick it out for me. Libby did pick it out for me by having it available. I was just too slow to read it because a lot of stuff came up this past week where I could not sit down and read The Night and the Moth. I really wanted to, like, so badly, but so many things came up and I was like, the universe doesn't want me to finish this book. Maybe because they knew that I would be so at a loss for words about how I would deal with it after the fact, because I can't, and now all I'm gonna think about is them, and I just want the second book already, but now I can't, so maybe that's why. But this book does seem promising though. Already first chapter, they got me good. Also, I'm realizing that I might have picked up like a fucked up version of this book because all the pages, they are in fact folded. Like there's folded marks. I don't know what happened. Anyways, excited to read it though. Super excited. I've heard nothing but great things about it, so hoping this will be 3 for 3 on really good picks for my physical TBR. I think this lighting is okay for now at least. Anyways, I want to update you guys because I got around like 26% of the way through A Tempest of Tea, and this was supposed to be my last and final book, and this is still going to be the last book in this episode of Read It or Unhaul It. And I know that doesn't sound great, and it's because I DNF'd it. Yeah, I DNF'd it around like the 26% mark of this book. I'm not enjoying it at all. I'm not enjoying it for a few reasons. First off, I gotta say, I was really looking forward to this, okay? Like I was really looking forward to this book, and I've heard nothing but great things about it, but upon looking at the reviews on Goodreads, I should have maybe read that beforehand. I don't know. One of many things that I don't like about this book is the fact that it's a lot of telling and not showing. I know some people chalk it up to being a character-driven book, but honestly, I've read a lot of character-driven books as well, and the ones that I like at least, they don't just dump a bunch of information all at once. You kind of get the information dispersed throughout the book, and that is the whole point of character-driven books, okay? In my opinion, at least, okay? When you get all this information up front, and it's a lot of info dumping, it's not fun. It's not fun, it's not engaging, and it's just, there's just some distance between it, and it just feels more like you're just telling me all these things, and you're not allowing me to learn this information as we go throughout this plot and earn the right to feel these things. It kind of just feels like now you're just telling me all this information, all this tragic lore of these people, and you want me to be sad about them up front, and that's just not how it works, in my opinion, okay? That's just my opinion and my opinion only, but I kid you not, like I got 5 chapters in, maybe 4 chapters in. I'm getting one of the characters' backstory about how he basically lost his family. I just didn't need to know that in chapter 5. I also didn't need to know all of that in chapter 5. Maybe you could have teased it, but you didn't have to give me like the whole dump of it all. I get why it was said because it kind of ties into how he knows and has met the other main character. But at the same time, you build these things up, especially, I don't know if this is supposed to be a duology. I know there's another book that just recently came out, but either way, you're trying to build up to something and you can't do that if you're just dumping all this information all at once, okay? So that's one of the biggest reasons why I will DNF a book, is if it's a lot of info dumping, it's a lot of telling, not showing, and it just feels very distant. And so that was the biggest reason why I did not like this book. Also, the thing too with telling, not showing, is that when you are trying to build up this character to be this badass person, they will not be a badass person just because you tell us that they are a badass person. You know what I mean? The FMC in this book, I mean, I don't know anything past the 26% mark, so I could be very wrong. But up until the 26% mark of the book, I haven't seen a single thing that supports that this FMC is as badass as not only other people proclaim her to be, but she self-proclaims, which also feels a little bit weird for me as well, because if you think about all these characters that a lot of people deem as badass, they don't self-proclaim themselves to be badass. I don't know, like maybe I'm just reading too much into it. It just really bothered me that this was her character description up front and we have nothing to support it. Absolutely nothing. Other than like maybe a dagger scene, and that's it. And even then, that felt a little bit forced. To do that in the first few chapters, that felt so forced, okay? No offense, I'm sorry. I just have a really big issue with that for my taste. Not saying that if you enjoy that, you have bad taste. That's not what it is. If you like this book, I'm happy for you. I'm truly so happy for you. But this is not my cup of tea. Like there's a lot of things happening that I don't personally like. So that is why I am speaking to it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just my personal taste. Everybody has their own taste. I will like a book that other people won't like. I will not like a book that other people love. It is what it is, and that is why I chose to DNF it. I also didn't really like the pacing of this book either. The book leading up to me DNFing it, I just didn't really have any stakes in it. I felt like it was gonna take me a lot to feel invested in this book, so I just kind of nipped it before I was further disappointed. I just felt like if I read this book more, the more frustrated I was gonna get. And I honestly have no interest reading the rest. I'm okay. I'm okay being spoiled. And I think that's also a big indicator for whether or not I should DNF a book. I feel like if I'm reading a book and I'm not digging it, and I think about if someone were to spoil this book for me right now, would I be upset about it? And if the answer is no, I wouldn't be upset about it, it's very safe to say that I should just DNF this book. Life is too short not to DNF books, okay? So if you don't like a book, don't force yourself to read it. So I'm gonna DNF this book. Maybe I'll come to like it if I ever revisit it in the future. I'm not putting that past me. I've definitely revisited books that I've DNF'd and didn't like and ended up liking them a lot. So maybe it just comes with time. But as of now, I'm DNFing it. I have no interest in continuing this series or rereading it anytime soon. So with that being said, I am gonna unhaul this book. And once I have enough to unhaul, I will definitely maybe like make a video around that, or like a short at least, and kind of go from there. But that's 2 for 3, okay? I think that's still pretty good. 2 out of 3 books I ended up liking out of the first episode. So that's good. That leaves us with 86 books left to read. Yay! It's still a lot of books, but it's a lot less than the 89 that I had. So with that being said, this is the end of episode 1. I'm gonna continue on the series. I think I'm gonna do like little mini challenges with each episode of Read It or Unhaul It. And also, of course, if you have a better name, let me know. And I'm so open to it. But I'm thinking each episode will have like a unique challenge. Maybe some of them won't. I don't really know. This is an ever evolving series. So you guys will come along with me as it evolves, which is super exciting. But that is it. Let me know if you guys have read any of your physical TBR lately. What are some of your favorite books that you've read on your physical TBR? Have you unhauled any books lately? I would love to hear it. And that is it. I will see you guys next time. Bye.